platforms change. TikTok came, went
Yeah,
back,
came back. Yeah.
So it's like, if you're super reliant on something specific, if you do GMB SEO for businesses and Google decides to get rid of the map pack one day, well then, hey, you gotta switch it up. You gotta find something else. So there's things that happen in the industry, and then there's also, back end platform changes that just, it is what it is. But I would say a solid offer every 1 to 2 years, but you should always be looking at what's making that customer tick when you're on the sales call and always tweaking and improving and adding so that maybe one piece of your offer falls off or changes or you don't need, but you have three or four other pieces of that offer that you can keep and you can continue to sell.
Welcome to the Spotlight Session. It's a game changing interview series that showcases award winning agency owners to share secrets of starting and scaling a marketing business.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast here at High Level called the Spotlight Session. Today, I have someone so exceptional, and I just recently heard his story, Jake Setterlun. These guys are crushing it. They've been in the industry, the marketing world for quite some time. They found High Level, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. But one of the cool things about Jake that I've noticed is he focuses on the done with you business model. And I know we've taught that as part of our challenges, courses, and all kinds of stuff in the past. But we're gonna kind of unpack his business and how they kind of function. And hopefully you'll learn a lot about fulfillment, offer creation, product creation. And our hope is that as you listen in, you're not going to just learn about the best things about the agency world, but some of the challenges that you don't find often. But Jake, thanks for saying yes to our podcast, man.
Absolutely, John or Paulson. Thank you so much for having me. So used to talking with John on everything, but yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, shout out to JB. John set up this entire segment, so big shout out to him on introducing me to Jake. Jake, I know you've been at this entrepreneurial journey for quite some time. For the folks that don't know you yet, can you share your story? Take a couple of minutes and just give us a background of like how did you find the digital online world altogether?
Absolutely. So I feel like it's been a lifetime since I started. I got into marketing about 10 years ago now. It's again been a long time. And I was in school for engineering and started a little prototyping business. I realized you can start a business, but clients just don't come to you. So I had to learn marketing. And through marketing, obviously through programs, education, I kind of got just really intertwined into the online space. That led me into starting my own agencies. And obviously, with having a marketing agency, tools come along and we were introduced into Go High Level. But as of right now, I currently operate with my partners, four different marketing companies that all lead into kind of our back end SaaS platform. So it's been, again, a crazy ride. We've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of failures, a lot of successes, but it's super exciting.
Yeah, and just to break the ice here, you can totally tell me how overwhelming high level could be for someone brand new, and that's kind of one of the things that I want to talk about first. So, how did you find high level? How do you navigate through high level? And as you're coming into this spotlight session and you're streaming everywhere and things like that, three things that I want to really kind of navigate through this conversation. One is how to operate and function in high level when you're brand new and not get overwhelmed. The second thing is the offer creation. Every business must have an offer that makes sense in the economics of the market. There's supply demand. We need to make sure the offer makes sense. The third thing is the done with you model, Jake. I feel like you're an expert there, and you have 4 or 5 different big projects that you're constantly working on. So let's talk about the first thing, the overwhelming mountain of high level sometimes, right?
Yep. Yeah, so we got into high level obviously as we were, doing ads, doing marketing, doing all that stuff for clients. We have always been, how do we improve? And part of that, we were actually giving people an account in Pipedrive and just saying like, hey, manage your leads in here. And then you hear about this tool that's like, well, it sends out texts, they can call, you can do automations back in the days of campaigns and triggers. So, we were like, hey, let's give our clients this platform. But In the beginning, again, even back in the day when there's about as half of the tools back then that there are now, it was definitely a challenge kind of getting in there and being like, how does all this, piece together? And I think the biggest thing for me, because I'm a back end guy, I'm a systems guy, so I love automations. It's really getting in there and playing with it and stress testing everything. Put your contact in there, your information, text yourself, email yourself, put yourself through automations and literally just play around with the platform and see what's possible, what you can do, what you can't do. And then from there, as business problems, challenges, you want to launch X, Y, and Z come up, you're like, oh, hey, I can do that in Go High Level. So I think that's the biggest thing is just really getting inside of the platform and playing around and seeing what you can do with it.
Yeah, I think the brilliant component to that is high level is a moving target. It's constantly evolving every single week. There's new features coming out. So there's no such thing as becoming an expert at high level. It's because every single week, everybody's reset to the same knowledge base, and now you got to learn something brand new. So, Jake, so when you have a system like that as your kind of the backbone, how do you build offers that you get, excited about or that you can be consistent with?
Absolutely. So we have really three pillars that we look at when we're creating a new offer. It's who's the audience, what's the unique angle, and what's the end result. So I think as long as you have those three things, you're going to have a winning offer. And the way that we structure everything, and you probably talk to a lot of people, you see it inside of the group. I think when they get into high level, they look at it as, which again, you can do. I'm not hating on it, but it's, hey, we have this all in one CRM, which I think is great. Like it's a great tool, but everybody's doing that. So you have to have something else to lead with and then use the all in one tool as the mechanism that's actually getting the client the result, not the offer that you're leading with. So as an example is if you're in the insurance space, it's, I help insurance professionals close more policies, um, using a four-step system, something like that. And it's like the end result is them closing more policies, and the way you're getting them there is the all-in-one, marketing system, and you're plugging in ads, getting them leads, and using high level to convert. So that's really been the biggest way that we're just navigating the whole offer space is we're always picking a niche and then what does that niche want and how can we lead with something that they're going to respond to? And then the backbone of anything we ever do is always going to be high level. That's where they're going to live. That's where the client's going to live, see, and interact with everything that we're doing for them.
Yeah, so what I'm understanding is don't lead with features, but lead with the results that that industry wants. And it's really important to, kind of use a foot in the door offer or a Trojan horse kind of a mechanics instead of just opening up the big can of box of saying, "Hey, I have everything all in one." Is that what you're getting at?
Absolutely. It really is. I think leading with the end result, but I've also seen success too if you don't do marketing for people up front, would be lead with one thing that the CRM does. Lead with just the two-way communication or lead just with the review management aspect. It's again, everybody always says niche down, but you have to do that with your offer as
Yeah,
well.
AI employee invoice AI too, right? It's like a big one.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so what does the sales process look like when you lead with offers in that kind of a fashion? Like give us like I know you work with 4 or 5 different industries. Like what are the offers there? What are the differences? Help us kind of understand.
Absolutely. So our sales process, because we're in the done with you space, so it's, hey, we're gonna set you up marketing and then we're gonna give you this back end system. Our process across the board is very similar and we sell every one of our products very similar. But the way that our funnel works, our sales process works is it's very simple. And we've been blessed that we're now very reliant on paid ads. That could be a pro, that could be a con, but it's a very simple, funnel of, hey, this is what we do. If you're interested, click here, see if you qualify for our system. We have a couple qualifiers. We want to make sure that they're the right fit. And then if they are, simply book an appointment with our sales team. And our sales team, we're not, we really try to differentiate ourselves from others. So we don't take the high ticket approach where it's like, what's your emotion? Why do you want to do X, Y, and Z? We're very upfront with, hey, this is what your marketing is going to look like. This is what your CRM is going to look like. This is the platform. So we have a very visual presentation, and then it's, hey, yes or no, is this something that you'd be interested in? So very, very straight to the point, but even back in the day when we were doing a lot of cold prospecting, it was very simple. It's, hey, we do this for X, Y, and Z. If you're interested, hop on a demo call. And again, we're still very upfront with showing them everything, being very transparent on what things look like, what we can do, what we can't do, and then going
Yeah.
from there.
And you said you don't lean on the high ticket side. So what does your offers, what do that look like? Is it low ticket and you ascend them a certain way into a mid ticket? Like what does the relationship financially look like for the customer?
Absolutely. So the way that we have everything structured is we have an upfront fee that ranges anywhere from on the low end $1,000 and on the high end 3,500. So I guess that, to some people it's high ticket, to others you would consider that
Yeah,
low ticket.
yeah.
And then we just have our back end SaaS, and our back end SaaS is, high level and ranges anywhere from 97 on the low end, and then we do have some, ads management upgrades and things like that that'll take them all the way up to $1,000 a month.
Got it. And these are 6 month relationship, 2 year relationships, 90-day relationships. Is there a trial period? Like what is the structure of the relationship?
Absolutely. So it's structured as upfront a 5 month relationship with the client. We put them through, we have a step-by-step back end training that they go through, that it's like, here's what you do month one, month two, month three. So we did kind of, programize it, if you want to use that word, so that it's
Yeah.
not just us setting up marketing for you and you get a back end. But obviously that's what the client's looking at. On our back end, we don't really treat it like that because our goal is to just keep that client as long as possible.
Got it. So, Jake, talk to me as if I am brand new in the world of marketing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I haven't picked that industry yet. How do I formulate an offer? Like, because a lot of marketers that I've seen, over the years, they think of marketing strategies or marketing techniques as the offer when the client doesn't even know what that is, right? They think about the end result they get, but like, help us understand how to even put together an offer for a brand new person.
Absolutely. So I think that there's two things that kind of go into it. Number one is what's your deliverable going to be? And when I mean deliverable, I mean the back end. Like, are you doing Google ads? Are you doing Facebook ads? Is it just, the CRM platform? SaaS, like whatever that looks like, and then how do I take that and spin it into something that the industry, the niche, whatever you want to call it, wants. So, and again, we could use real estate as an example. If
Yeah.
I'm selling them just the CRM, let's say, I know that real estate agents, just because we've been in that industry, they want deal flow, they want qualification, they want automated nurturing. So then, if I'm speaking directly to that industry, I would say, hey, I have this backend CRM, but I'm not saying like real estate agents get an all-in-one CRM. I'm saying real estate agents get, done for you deal coordination with, automated pipeline management or flow management or something like that. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
twisting what that deliverable is. But to answer your question more and just like the actionable step is the only way to really understand and have a solid offer of what that industry wants is talking to them. So if you're brand new and you just got a HighLevel account or you're even just thinking about getting into some kind of online space, is have conversations with your industry, with your niche, and really understand like what makes them tick. Are they motivated by money? Are they motivated by saving time? Like what's making them tick? What's making them take action? And then kind of reverse engineer your deliverable into an offer that meets what they want.
Yeah, this reminds me of back when I had my dental agency, so like maybe over 7, 8 years ago now. I was competing with a lot of other dental marketers, and everybody was throwing, $100 teeth whitening or consultation to these doctors. And I said, you know what, let me talk to these doctors and see what they really want. And I realized they wanted less patients. They just wanted five patients that were all like big tickets or implants, and they come in and just deal with 25 or $30,000 cases. They didn't want to deal with 100 or 200 whitening cases or consultation. So like you're absolutely right, Jake. You have to talk to the folks in the industry, and it's not just the leaders, but just the average person and figure out what does their normal business looks like? Is this what they want? Some real estate people don't want deal flow. Deal flow is not a thing. They already have enough people in their deal flow, but most are unqualified. So they want qualified conversation. So, there's a lot to it. Can you kind of expand on different things you've seen on the different industries that you worked on this?
Yeah, sure. So again, real estate, you hit it on the head. They want qualification. They don't care if you can get them 100 buyer opportunities. I've seen that because again, we started there. Like they don't need that. So they want qualifications. Insurance, on the other hand, they want leads. They don't really care so much about qualification because they are just dialing for dollars. They see opportunity in everybody. Local service businesses and the kind of even just home service businesses, if you want to, lump those, into the same category, they want and tick a little bit more with the back end SaaS and the CRM and being able to manage their whole business, all in one platform. And then, with them too, again, they don't want to be doing sales. They just want people calling them. So, again, we've added some SEO stuff in for those specific individuals and more, of a Google approach. And then you have health and wellness businesses. And again, kind of like what you said, they've done a lot of marketing, but they're, as weird as it is, they care more about what their marketing looks like and that they're just positioned as this celebrity, as this authority,
Yeah.
than anything else. So it's weird, but every single industry has a little different thing that makes them tick. But then that's that little thing that you need to lead with because insurance, they don't care what their ads look like. They just want something that's cheap, that converts, that's, again, leads in their email. Real estate, something different. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they're
it's
all just a
interesting.
little different.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said, the quirkiness that each industry has that makes them feel a certain way about their industry is what you kind of lead with. Like I remember pivoting into med spa for like a little bit, the dental world versus med spa. Dental folks were focused on clinical education for their customers. Like they wanted to make sure that their patients, the folks that are walking in, knew what they were getting into from a case standpoint. They wanted you to understand the diagnosis that you're part of, right? Where med spa folks, they weren't as clinical. They were more retail oriented, where they cared about the aesthetics of the branding colors. They cared about the video clips and which audio, worked on Instagram Reels. Like it was like such an interesting thing because, what one industry, they're both in the medical space in my head, but they react to marketing materials, offers, language in a certain different way.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, like that's going to dictate your offer, that's going to dictate how your brand looks, everything like that.
Yeah. So then, Jake, how do you test an offer once you have it? Like, how do we make sure this is, do we take it to the back and, garbage it out and shoot it out? Or like, how do we make sure this is an offer that stands? Or do you come up with new offers once a quarter for your agency or your business? Like, how do you deal with offers in general?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that the way we start really is we set up a company because I'm trying to relate it back to somebody just starting because we've done it so, for so many
Yeah.
companies for so long that we kind of have our process, but that might be different for somebody starting. But the way we do things, just to be transparent, is we'll set up a company we call it industry agnostic, or basically it's not assigned to
So
anything.
universal.
Not
Yeah.
assigned to, yeah, just something that if we need to change it, the offer doesn't work. we can do that and then, go from there. So that's how we do things now is we'll set up a company. It's just very general stuff. We put together an offer based off of any kind of, market research that we can do. Competitor research too is another big one, and put together our MVP of what we think is going to work best. And then we actually track this and we have 50 sales calls, 50 live sales calls with 50 offers. And then we know our KPIs. We need to have at least a 40% show rate and a 30% close rate on those appointments, and then an offer close. So we'll see, is that offer hitting KPI? And if it is, it's valid, we'll run with it. And we might tweak it, over time if we hear something from prospects. But if we're not hitting those KPIs, then we need to go back to the drawing board and we need to figure out how can we change this to make it better? Or is it just a bad offer and we scrap it and we move on?
Yeah. And offer fatigue is a real thing, right? Like as soon as everybody, came out of the woodworks that they're an AI expert,
Yep.
it confuses the entire market of like, okay, what is real AI versus not? Like, can you talk about how long these offers usually last for you guys? Like, or maybe I'm totally wrong. You have some offers that have been going since day one, you know?
That's so funny because we are in the process of literally doing a soft relaunch on one of the brands because of the offer fatigue. And funny enough, we're taking AI out of it because everybody else is doing that, and we're big on separating ourselves. So the longest I've seen one of our offers run has been about 2 years, but I think they can die out in as little as a year, and they can run probably up to 2 to 3 years. Ours being, 2 years is the longest. Industries change, which is going to end up changing your offer, but platforms change. TikTok came, went
Yeah,
back,
came back. Yeah.
So it's like, if you're super reliant on something specific, if you do GMB SEO for businesses and Google decides to get rid of the map pack one day, well then, hey, you gotta switch it up. You gotta find something else. So there's things that happen in the industry, and then there's also, back end platform changes that just, it is what it is. But I would say a solid offer every 1 to 2 years, but you should always be looking at what's making that customer tick when you're on the sales call and always tweaking and improving and adding so that maybe one piece of your offer falls off or changes or you don't need, but you have three or four other pieces of that offer that you can keep and you can continue to sell.
I love that. And before we talk about fulfillment and the assembly line of what it all looks like on the back end, can you navigate through the decisions y'all made on like switching all your client acquisition to paid ads? Because like that's typically a pretty advanced thing where you're dealing with inbound leads, or you have positive replies, and you have a prospector filtering out the, leads, and then you got a closer, and then you got an account manager. Like I get the mechanics, but like for the brand new person that don't have the big budget for paid ads yet, like when did you feel comfortable running paid ads, or how did you get to that point of being able to run paid ads?
Absolutely. So we started off, funny enough, doing cold calling, and we had cold callers, and we had a pay per show model. We would go out, say, hey, if you're interested in cold calling, we'll pay you per show. So we've always been focused on how much are we paying per appointment, and then how much are we paying for a closed sale,
Mm.
the CPA, cost per acquisition. So we were doing cold calling. We had a little bit of DMing going. We did a lot of LinkedIn automation. But once we started doing Facebook ads specifically, is how we got into the whole paid ads sphere. We really didn't look back because it was the same thing with cold calling where we're looking at what's our cost per appointment and then what's our end result. But we didn't have to manage the cold callers with the ads. All I
Yeah.
had to do is put up some images, send them to a landing page, and they were booking appointments. And again, I know that I'm making it sound a lot easier than it actually is, but it was just something that with cold and with cold prospecting and all that stuff, cold email, LinkedIn, DMing, there was a lot of moving parts that we couldn't always control because there were individuals, humans that were literally taking care of those processes. So for us, our focus was 80/20 rule. We're spending all this time managing all this cold prospecting when it's just super easy to run paid ads, have that going. And yes, it's probably a little bit more, costly, as far as the CPA goes, but it's easier for us to scale. And if I want to throw two closers on an offer because it started working, all I have to do is double or triple the ad spend every day. I don't have to hire four cold callers to help
Yeah.
fill those calendars.
That makes sense. What were some of the threshold like ranges that you were comfortable with for cost per appointment, like in general? Like, some agencies are like 125, 150 is like the max I would ever go, and some are like, oh, I'll take that all day long because the clients are worth 5K a month, you know? So what was the ranges that you kind of felt comfortable with?
Absolutely. So we range anywhere from we've had some really good offers, some really good periods where our cost per acquisition is right around like 200 to $300, which is insane,
Wow.
which up
Wow.
front we're generating leads from 10 to $20. We're booking anywhere from 50 to 60% of those to a call. Cost per call again, per live call. So we have about a 50% show rate. Again, some
Yeah.
under, some over.
Yeah.
Um,
Plus the
40.
industry's changed too, right?
The
Each in,
industry's changed, absolutely. But
you know.
yeah, $40 to $80 per call for
Yeah,
live call.
that's pretty ridiculous actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Usually it's a
I
lot more than that.
No, but we, again, in the health and wellness space, we're paying $50 a lead. We're seeing 60% of those actually book and a 60% show up rate. So you're
Yeah.
getting into the hundreds for a call. So every industry is a little different, and that's kind of what dictates how much we're charging. Because if our leads are going to be expensive, well, then we need to recoup that money,
Yeah, on
when
a
we
set
sell.
fee. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Makes sense. So before we go even more into the fulfillment component, one last thing I would love for you to kind of highlight. The type of clients you get from cold prospecting versus paid ads, like it's to me, it's two different intent. The paid ads usually is a lot cleaner and better of a client. They're more advanced, they've searched you out, they're more educated on the product and the offer. Like that's usually what I've experienced. But like, give us a run take of like, because getting out of cold is difficult. And a lot of times it's because of the type of clients you attract because of cold outreaches and cold approaches.
For sure. So funny enough, and our offer changed with this as well. But when we were doing a lot of cold, we were actually a little bit more done for you, and our LTV on those customers was like anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 because it was more of a retainer. So definitely we're probably in a little bit weirder of a situation with our cold outreach because we were it was again just a different offer. So, and the people that could actually afford that done for you at, $1,000, $2,000 a month, definitely a different type of client. But even from, again, people come through and message us and then we'll book an appointment with them. It's definitely cleaner. And it's almost like tech is the filter for those people when they're messaging us or they're commenting on our Facebook post and saying, "Hey, I want more information." Well, it's like, did you not see the learn more button and click and book an appointment like you're supposed to? But if they message us, if they comment, it's kind of like they don't fully understand how ads work. They don't understand how social media works. And
Mm,
when we transitioned our offer and we were still using cold, we saw the same thing. You just have again, like you said, a different type of prospect come through because they're a little bit less tech savvy. They're not really with it. A lot of times they don't even understand that it's cold prospecting that they're doing or that we're doing to get them into our funnel. So yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird set of prospects, but definitely a little bit less tech savvy, a little bit just not with the whole social media stuff.
yeah.
Um,
So the do-it-yourself model, the done with you model, the done for you model, it sounds like you transitioned from done for you to done with you, and this and SaaS is kind of the back end of the done with you. So I'm assuming your fulfillment looks like this. Big setup fee, big engagement up front, the first like 2 months or 90 days, you stabilize them, and then you kind of let them cruise and just support them as they need. Because at that point, they should be like a power user of the thing that you're bringing them into. Maybe it's AI employee, but in that 90 days, you expand them to everything else, depending on how comfortable they feel. Is that a good assumption?
That is exactly it. Yep,
Okay, so help us understand how you guys map that out. Like that
for sure.
assembly line sounds like it's the same regardless of what industry, and the approach is the same regardless of the industry when it comes to the SaaS.
Yeah, so it's exactly that. And we transitioned from the done for you to done with you because we didn't and we weren't really good. I mean, at the time I was doing everything on the back, but I hated doing ads management. I hated doing the client support, the check-ins, the reports, like all of that stuff sucked. So for us, it was like, okay, we can do this done with you thing where they're responsible for their marketing campaigns and we just support them when they reach out. It's not this proactive, support where we're sending reports and checking everything every day. So it's exactly that. And our assembly line is you sign up with the salesperson, they're making a, you know, transition over to our support team by them booking an onboarding. And we have an onboarder that'll show up. They do the onboarding, they have a presentation, they're doing A2P verification, and just making sure that they're comfortable with everything. And sometimes we'll do a part two onboarding if it, just runs long and they have a lot of questions, or it'll just be that one onboarding. And then the last thing we do on the onboarding call is we actually launch their advertising campaign for them. So we have things like UpHacks, Play that are now input into our HighLevel, where it's super easy for us to just launch whatever kind of campaign that they want to launch. And it's like, hey, this is going. If you have any issues, let us know. And we have automated flows, client check-ins that's like, a week after the onboarding. Hey, how's everything going? Do you need help with anything? We have, other messages, touch points like that that go out for about, like you said, it's about 60 to 70 days. That's our kind of back end flow where we're just checking in. But if they're not reaching out, if they're not booking check-in calls, we're assuming that, they're using the system, everything's good to go, and that's really our flow. So we have the onboarding team, we have a separate support team, and then we have a separate check-in team that just handles our check-ins, and we have kind of a brand new
Yes.
piece of the puzzle is an actual AI team that they're helping with the voice agents that we have, any of the AI agents as far as texting goes, and that kind of stuff.
It's funny because like when we first launched the SaaS mode in high level and all this stuff, and we're like telling agency owners, hey, shift into thinking like a software company instead. It's got a lot less churn. I think it was quite the mountain to climb in the beginning for a lot of people. But now that we're seeing like a hybrid model of people using done for you as a front end, and then it turns into a done with you, then by the end of 90 days, it's like a do-it-yourself model. Like, can you walk us through those decisions? Like, it must have been quite the process to figure out what's going to work and not work as you're battling churn.
Absolutely. So our biggest thing has always been how much is somebody actually adopting what we're giving them, because that's going to dictate if they're going to turn or not. So with the done for you, people didn't want to do anything. They just want silver platter. Here's your appointment. So they wouldn't even log in. And obviously that doesn't help us because then they're judging us based off the appointments. And then you have your kind of do it yourself, just like throw them in there, no onboarding, like just good luck type of thing. And those people, they're not entrepreneur-y, they're not techie, they're not like us. So they just won't even use the platform. They'll just like get super overwhelmed, be like, this is a lot. And they're flunking from that. And then you have this hybrid done with you model that's been us setting people up, making sure they're comfortable, making sure we're integrating the software, everything into their business. Now they're reliant, they're forced to get comfortable inside of, our CRM platform, whatever you want to call it. And then that is helping us with turn because now they're reliant on what we're setting up for them. And that means they're sticking because they're adopting it.
Got it. So what does account management look like the first like 30 days?
Absolutely. So it's really the biggest things is the onboarding. Again, any check-in calls that client's coming back and booking with us. But our outreach to them is just the touch points, texting and email automation saying, "Hey, is everything good? Do you need anything from us?" If they're reaching out, a lot of times it's, "Hey, I want to change my marketing campaign. I need help with automations. I need help with the phone number, something like that." And then the only other real touch, I call it a touch point, is inside of Upex and inside of Play. We do have somebody that is scanning marketing campaigns, looking at all the clients on an overall level. And if lead cost just gets ridiculous, out of control, we are diving in and we are looking at like, okay, they put a custom ad in there. They're at $100 a lead. This is not good. And we'll reach out, if they hit that point as well. But the expectation that we give our clients too is also like you're responsible for this. So if you're not happy with your lead cost, your lead quality sucks, you need to reach out to us because we have the solution for you. But this is a done with you program. You're not paying us to manage your account for you. So you need to reach out to us and use us as a resource, not us, being proactive doing it for you.
Yeah, because I think reactive versus proactive, that we have to separate the two and set the right expectations, right? Because like in the done for you model, you're typically reactive, just overreacting, typically, and that's just the way marketers do things. Um, when it's the done with you, you have the luxury to not be so reactive, and then and gives you the room to be proactive because you're not spending hours now building campaigns. You're now on a monitoring mode almost.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I think drew us to the done with you model, but also has kept us here so long.
Got it. So what does expansion look like? How do you take a client that came in on a low ticket and turn them into like a long-term, I guess, relationship?
Absolutely. So that's the one area that we struggle with the most is upselling. Just because when somebody's comfortable and they're paying $100 a month for their CRM and they have all their marketing campaigns, it's like, what else can we give that client? And that is the downfall of us being in, four different industries, all kind of leading into one company is we're not able to really, really, really be an expert in, let's just say, real estate and kind of have this higher level mastermind where we could teach them more and do that kind of stuff. So that is definitely one of those negatives of being so
Wide,
horizontally
yeah.
kind of wide. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that for us, the way that we're kind of upselling people is the ads management. And again, it's not something that we do a lot of, but if somebody's like, "Hey, I'm spending $1,000 a day," that's something that we're going to send to our media buying team, and we're going to recommend that you actually work with us a little bit more one-on-one, where we are being proactive and actually looking at their campaign every single day. But again, we don't have a lot of clients like that because these are independent contractors. These are just, small businesses that are spending, a few $100s a month. So it's one of those things that we don't have, this big high ticket that we're trying to get everybody into. We have a
Yeah.
couple accounts that we manage, but that's pretty much it.
Seems like it's a lot less stressful.
That is one of the pros of it. We don't have that aspect of support and putting all this stuff together. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as we kind of close out the segment here, what are some things that you can recommend to the brand new person that's starting out, or even the advanced person that's trying to figure out, okay, how do I figure out the right KPIs or whatever, you know? What are some
Absolutely.
final thoughts you have?
Yeah, I think one thing is that it definitely still impacts us today is analysis paralysis and just like looking at, oh, I could do this, I could do that. I think it's putting something together, put a solid offer together, for the love of God, put a presentation together so when you're pitching somebody, you can show them. Don't just try to verbally explain. what they're getting, especially nowadays, and then stick to it and just, as you take more calls, as you talk to more of your prospects, just tweak it and change things up. And as you go, you'll find like, okay, people are really liking this offer. And then that's when you say, okay, I'm going to transition from cold into paid, and everything else just kind of falls in place.
Got it. It's been awesome, Jake. Can you speak to the folks that don't have high level just yet? I know there's a lot of people that are watching from far. They're on the fence. They're like, high level is a lot of hype in all these groups, but how do I make that jump happen? Can you share your thoughts to the folks that are not on high level yet?
Absolutely. Well, first off, you're missing out because HighLevel is probably the best online business management platform that there is out there. It literally does everything that you need for your business. So if you're on edge, if you want less of a headache and 90% less subscriptions every month, then you should probably check out High Level. But if you want to keep paying for all that crap and having 1,500 different logins for different platforms, then I guess keep doing what you're doing.
Well, Jake, thanks for the kind words, man. It was been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I know we ran pretty quick here, and this was one of those short, sweet segments in my memory. But I appreciate your time. How can people find you? Where are your channels? How can people reach out to you, even to maybe even set up a strategy call?
Absolutely. Yeah, just outscaled .io is going to be the best place to reach out to us. Again, if you're more of a customer looking for an account, we can get you sorted. Otherwise, if you are just starting out, we got a lot of cool stuff there too.
Awesome, Jake. Well, thanks for spending your time with us. Bye for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paulson.